Today is March 25th, 2025. My name is Bobby Goodman, and I am interviewing Tommy Fagaudau about his days at the Columbian Club. Tommy, welcome.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you for sharing your memories.
You as always.
Always. Let me just jump right in. Tom, do you remember when you became a member of the Columbian Club?
Well, I was a member as a child, and I remember a lot of great things about the Columbian Club. More than anything, before I started playing golf quite a bit, I remember swimming. And we used to have races on, I think, July 4th and Labor Day. We had two sets of races. And I remember my strongest competitor at the time was Jimmy Chet. And I think I was in age group swimming with my brother. My brother always swept the races, and I think I won the races, but got out of swimming by the time I was 9 years old, because I couldn't stand it.
So your parents were members of the club.
My parents were members.
You remember about when they may have joined? Do you
Gosh,
recall?
it was before I was born.
Right.
Probably when they came back to Dallas in 1957 or so, maybe 1956.
So you and your siblings grew up at the club.
Right.
And then when did you become a member yourself?
I was 25 at the time.
Okay.
I think that was the junior membership at
Right.
25, and it was 1985.
1985.
Yeah.
What did so when your folks joined, and you may or may not know this, but at that time, did they join the club? Was there anti-Semitism that they may have felt, that they felt a need to join a Jewish country club?
You know, well, for sure there was anti-Semitism, and for sure, and there were no Jews, really, maybe one or two at Dallas Country Club, Stanley Marcus and Feld, I think, from Aiken Gump and Feld, was a member of Dallas Country Club, but no Jewish members of Brook Hollow, no Jewish members of Northwood. And I think when my parents came to town, it was sort of an important thing to do to join the Columbian Club as a member of the Jewish community. And I don't know if my grandparents were members, but I know my dad for sure joined when they came to Dallas from Wichita. No, he wasn't in Wichita Falls, he was in Roswell, New Mexico, working for ARCO at the time.
Let's see. And when you grew up as a little boy at the club, and your siblings evidently, and obviously you swam, because you told us about the swimming.
Right.
What are some of the other activities that you did?
Well, I can remember playing, there was a playroom,
Yeah.
and Mr. Osborne was always yelling at us because we were always creating a ruckus, and we were playing ping pong, or they had I don't recall, but they had other games up there. It was right as you go into the main clubhouse.
Right.
And I remember that. I remember the Osborne kids were always there. Harold was a phenomenal manager. The food was always just outstanding. And but his kids were there morning, noon, and night.
So you made use of the swimming pool and the game room, and what other facilities? You played golf?
I played golf, and not very well. I played tennis. I wasn't a very good tennis player, but I played golf mostly. And that was really, it was a great experience, because when we were little kids, I mean, it was amazing. It was you and me and Alan Sweet and Scott Robbins and Steve Friedman and Mark Friedman. We always had a game, and they're always good players. And it was just a great time.
When you were a little boy, what happened? How'd you get there? Your parents, what'd they do?
They dropped me off. My dad would drop me off before work, and I can remember he wouldn't pick me up till 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night, and I would be on the second green chipping all for at least an hour waiting to get picked up, and I think that's how my short game got good.
Kind of like your summer camp, right?
It was my summer camp. I went to summer camp twice and hated it, and just viewed the Columbian Club and playing golf with my friends as summer camp. It was way more fun than summer camp, because you could get a black cow at the end of your round.
What's a black cow?
A black cow is ice cream with either root beer or Coca-Cola. And I forget the name of the waiter. We had fantastic waiters. They had been there forever. And I think you would probably remember the names, but there was one guy that always made it. He looked sort of like an Indian almost.
Joe?
No. Anyway, if I can remember,
The
but
Black Cow. So tell me a little. I hear a lot about the food. How was the food at the Columbian Club?
it was outstanding.
Yeah.
The food was outstanding. Best hamburgers, best caviar dressing in the world on the chef salad. The chef salads were just perfection. Food was great. I can remember not only growing up there, but taking my family there, my kids and Patsy. We used to go there for all occasions, and I can remember, how much the kids really enjoyed going to the club for Mother's Day, Father's Day, July 4th, watching fireworks, and it was a really lovely place.
Seemed like the special occasions seemed like a
Yeah.
destination for the Columbian Club.
Yeah, and they had the beautiful bar room, which is really pretty elegant. They would have dinners there. My parents spent a lot of time there with friends, entertaining. It was a great area for entertainment for Jewish families.
When you became a member, Tommy, what did do you recall kind of what the membership looked like? Were they older people or more people your age?
No, it was really a lot older. The Columbian Club, there weren't a ton of young people. Maybe in my late 20s and early 30s, a bunch of guys started joining, and the membership actually began to change. And I think that was one of the doings of the Columbian Club, because there's always a difficulty, as you can remember. I can remember the town hall meetings for the assessments, and everybody who was a golfer had no problem with the assessments, but those who were not golfers were continually upset that assessments were being made and voted against it, and it was pretty contentious. And I'm sure you remember Dan. I know, what was his name? I forget it. I just called him Mr. Rappaport. He was always at those meetings and always against Don Rappaport was always against the assessments.
Yeah, it was the assessments were based because it was such an expensive to keep that golf facility going.
Correct. And then they redid the golf course, which all golf courses need after a certain period of time. And actually, also a lot of the older members, because they felt they weren't going to get the use out of the club, were always opposed to assessments as well.
Right.
So, and I think that was one of the things that kind of killed the club. I can remember I was on the board before I resigned, which I was a member of Dallas National, one of the original members in 2002. And then I stayed a member of the Columbian Club, I think, through 2005. And I was on the board, and I kept telling the board that unless they sort of upgraded and offered things to other people and to families, a lot of the families also had moved from North Dallas, and they were a lot closer. They lived in Plano, and they lived out in far North Dallas, and they were closer to the club. And there were lots of health clubs popping up at the time, and I felt that the Columbian Club was way behind all the other clubs in providing health and fitness facilities to the membership. Because I think the membership, there are lots of options at that point for people to do other things. And I thought that was going to be, in order to drive more young members and to keep the club going, they were going to have to modernize quite a bit. And the majority on the board, they were older. I was 30 at the time. They said, we're not going to do that. And I said, well, you're going to lose the club if you don't move into a different.
So you were on the. So were you on your involvement at the club? You're a board member.
Right.
And, did they call that a junior board member?
I think so.
Yeah. And what other things were you involved with? Was it, of course, the board's top of the line, but were
And
you anything?
I was on the Greens Committee, I think, once, and some other committees, golf related.
Do you kind of share with us like the importance of the club to you first,
Yeah.
and then how it was important to your family?
Well, it was probably, when it's interesting when you've asked me to talk about this, probably one of the most important facilities other than the St. Mark's that I went to in my entire childhood. There was my social life. I spent my summers there. I became a competitive golfer. We had a lot of great golfers at the club, a lot of great golfers. Scott Robbins, you, Alan Sweet. I mean, really, really top-notch golfers. And it was fun to play with guys who were all really, really good. And so that was central to, it was really my favorite sport and central to my childhood. And anyway, that's...
And
then my kids
girls grew up there
they grew
swimming
up there,
and doing things
and
as
they had a
well.
lot of friends there from Green Hill, and it was just a nice place to congregate for Jewish families.
And did you, as growing up, of course your immediate family, but did you have other family members that were member of the club?
Actually, I did not. It was just my parents and myself. I don't think my brother was a member because he had no use for the golf course, and I think my sister had moved to Nashville, and they were not members of the club either.
But obviously you made childhood friends there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of them, and by the way, I'll put you on that elite golfer status. But you still in connection. You still have communication with those friendships from back in the day.
I do, and not as much as I would like to. I would still like to be playing golf with all of them because they were all great guys to play with. And I was thinking the Columbian Club also did something very nice when you and I went to St. Mark's. They were nice enough to provide a host course for St. Mark's when no other club would do that. And actually, I think throughout from my freshman year all the way to my senior year, the Columbian Club was the home course for the St. Mark's golf team, and they let us play there for free every single.
It was
It was so nice.
Yeah,
we also had our SBC championship there. Either was it my junior year? You were not there. I think it was either my junior year or my senior year. No, it was my junior year.
They hosted SBC.
Yeah, and all my friends from Brook Hollow to Northwood loved the Columbian Club golf course. They were noted to have the best greens in Dallas, and it was also a really fun golf course to play. And everybody loved it.
They did, and they treated you like family right there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what is your share one of your favorite memories if you have about the club, if anything that comes to mind?
God, I have so many great memories of the club. Maybe my most memorable memory was when I beat your cousin. I was 9 years old. It was the 9 through 11. I beat him in a 9-hole match. I think I shot 43 and he shot 44. What was his name? Josh?
Josh Goldman?
Josh Goldman.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
they had a lot of tournaments for the juniors.
Yeah, and Bobby, you remember this? Roland Radowski was the absolute first golf coach I ever had. Probably maybe even the best. He was a phenomenal teacher. He taught all of us as students, and I can remember Bill Weber as the golf coach, who was a little bit anti-Semitic and a little bit drunk most of the time. And not really particularly very nice. But, and then they had a string of other really good pros. They had Tom Struber, and they had Lenny, what was his name? Lindy Miller, who I think is at Mira Vista now,
right.
Who was a great guy and actually an ex-professional golfer.
Remember where Roland lived?
I don't remember.
On the number 3 hole.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
He was the best.
Yeah.
He was great. So you've kind of alluded to this, but I'm going to ask it again, and maybe a different way. Why do you think the Columbian Club closed?
Because there are other options out there, Bobby. I think what had happened, maybe it was the 90s or when did I join? Well, I didn't join Dallas National until 2002. So I think starting in 2002, there were other options. You could join, at the time, you could join Preston Trails, you could join Dallas National, and then the other clubs opened up a little bit. Like Northwood may have a few Jewish members. I don't know if, and Brook Hollow I know now has 2 or 3 or maybe more Jewish members. But at the time, they were all restricted. It was not necessarily in their bylaws, but it would be impossible to get in. And I had a lot of good friends, as you did, at Brook Hollow and at Northwood and Royal Oaks and other places. But you could join other clubs, and I think the Columbian Club, unfortunately, really didn't keep pace with the rest of the clubs. They didn't spend the money on the clubhouse. It was worn. And any kind of facility just requires a lot of money to keep it up. And I think because there were other options and because the membership did not have the drive or initiative to keep the club continually modern and new. And I mean, you go to other places in the country, like Century Country Club up in New York or Hillcrest in LA. I mean, those clubs are Jewish country clubs, and they spend a lot of money to keep them up and to keep them, well regarded as well.
Do you think in today, could a Columbian club exist like you grew up at? You think it would support a Jewish country club today?
I think it could. I think so. I think very similar to Hillcrest Country Club. I think if it was along those lines, if it was a great facility, fantastic golf course, offering everything else, tennis and pickleball and, health facilities and great locker room, yeah, I think it probably could.
Are you familiar with the new Columbian Club?
I saw it. I looked it up because it was one of the questions. I guess it's on Rawson Hall. It's a eating club of some sort.
It's more of a nightclub, I think.
A nightclub, which didn't really ring with I didn't ever think of the Columbian Club as a nightclub. I don't think they had a lot of entertainment out there except during bar mitzvahs and weddings.
They have a lot of memorabilia, I think, in some of the menu items. I'll ask you this question. What was your favorite item? I know you mentioned that on the menu.
Parmesan bagel.
Oh, there you go. I think they had that there.
I'm sure they did.
The Parmesan
and
bagel.
all my friends love going there for the Parmesan bagel and the caviar dressing, Russian dressing. It was amazing.
Before I ask my last question,
okay.
Is there anything that I haven't asked or that you'd like to share, or is there anything that I missed here?
No, there really isn't. But you do bring back some great memories, and it's a shame that it didn't continue on. In some ways, I feel, me and other guys who quit the club and joined other places kind of, let it down. But at the same time, I think it turned into the honors, and then it was bought. It is a shame that it wasn't salvaged.
Right.
I think it would have been a positive thing.
So my final question to you, Tommy, is this. If I mention the word Columbian Club to you, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
God, so many great. The golf course, for sure. My friendships as a kid. It's interesting. I was listening to songs, and I was thinking about, I was listening to the radio, and the song Brandy came on. And I was thinking, I was a sophomore. It was the summer of my sophomore year, and we played golf every single day. And I remember listening to that song on the way to the club every single time. I remember your parents taking us out there in the suites, It was just so fun.
Great memories.
Yeah.
Tommy, thank you for sharing the memories of your days at the Columbian Club. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you asking me.